SoundingTheAlarm.com. Warning, the events and issues of this broadcast are real and eternal.
This is Trevor Davis, sounding the alarm on February 22nd, 2021. Today I'm going to talk about vector and defilement. I was pondering this morning about people that find themselves in a contrary way to the Lord and what could be done about that. There are people who are still walking and mindful of the ways of the flesh and not the Spirit. Romans 8 tells us this is death. However, to be spiritually minded is life and peace. I was pondering on all this. Well, I heard in the Spirit, spoke one word to my heart, and it was vector. And I knew that was from the Lord. And what does this word come from? What does it mean? And I was thinking, well, I have the sense that it means target or direction. I was correct. It has the meaning of to convey or to carry through. Vector is used in flight direction. Reaching a target is how I took it, looking at it in a positive way. One can change their vector as planes do by their thrust of the engines and changing the various directional aspects. Now, Romans 6 came to my mind. This is a very deep chapter. It explains how victory or defeat takes place for a person. One can be buried with Christ and die to sin, then be raised in newness of life by the glory of the Father. They can yield to obedience that leads to righteousness, or they can yield to sin unto death. Now that is vector. I thought as I pondered this with the Lord that this process can be likened to changing a TV channel. You can change the channel and even turn off the TV, as most should have done. Taking in data and input that repeatedly displays everything contrary to God and righteousness will affect you. In fact, it can defile you. And that's part 2 of this revelation that I had with the Lord this morning. What is defilement? Well, this is very important because Titus 1 verses 15 and 16 speaks of those who are pure, everything's pure. But the ones defiled, nothing is pure. Their minds, their conscience, and their works are defiled. Defiled is to be stained or tainted. The word has the sense that everything that goes through it also becomes defiled. If you walked in a field through dung and mud with your shoes on, you'd be defiled and unclean. If you then walked through your house with your shoes on, your house would be defiled. It's easy to understand. A disciple of Jesus wants to be pleasing to the Father. They want to walk in the ways of Jesus, be pure and holy, like Jesus. He loved righteousness and hated iniquity. This is the way we are to be as we follow Jesus. If a person does not walk in this way, in the very steps of Jesus, they are in a state of death, though they may still walk and talk. This is the danger of defilement. A word study of defile, and defilement will show you what God has spoken on this subject. The idols, idolatry, the ways, the deeds of Israel that were literally led to the defilement of the land, God said. They were unclean as a menstruous woman in her impurity, it was written. God said the land was defiled, and the things of God even were defiled, and the people were defiled. You can take a look at Ezekiel chapter 23. Jesus addressed this principle of defilement. He said that what came out of a man from an evil heart was what defiled the man. In Matthew 15:11 and 15 through 20 says this: evil thoughts, murder, hatred, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, slander. In Mark 7:20 through 23, evil thoughts, fornications, thefts, murder and hatred, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. These are some of the things that come out of a defiled heart, thus defiling the person and all they do. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. It's written, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me, O Lord. This is the prayer of a trusting, yielded, God-loving person. Search me and know if there be any wicked thing in me, O Lord, and lead me the way into life everlasting. Now, that's very good. Put yourself in that position before the Lord. He's the potter, we're the clay. But to ignore these things and continue on in the ways that God despises is to actually despise him. The point of this discussion is to say God has made the way to change one's way and path. He spoke that word to me this morning, vector. Change channels. Turn off the wrong influences of any kind. Keep your garments pure. James said, true religion is to visit the widows and help the orphans and keep yourself unspotted from the world. Jesus calls us out of the world. All uncleanness, all corruption, all flesh, all carnality, all falsehood. Come to him. Deny yourself, pick up your cross of self-denial daily, and to follow him. He is the light of the world. And if a person follows Jesus and yields in obedience, they will have the light of life. To hear Jesus and believe in obedience is to have life eternal now. To disobey Jesus is to die as even Adam and Eve died, though they still lived in a physical plane. Think about that. We walk today among the walking, talking dead, and people do not even generally realize this. And that's exactly what Jesus said about the Pharisees. They were like tombs that men walked upon unawares. Jesus told the church at Smyrna, Revelation chapter 3, they had a reputation of being alive, yet they were dead. He told them what to do about it, and he's speaking the very same thing today to those with ears to hear. This is Trevor Davis, soundingthealarm.com.